What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. And today I'm super excited to release this video as I'm playing in by far my favorite place to play poker tournaments at the PokerGo studio in Las Vegas. They hosted the PokerGo Cup, and you just get a chance to play with the best players in America. It's a $5,000 buy-in, $185,000 for first place, and all of the best players out there. You got Justin Saliba, Alex Foxen, Steven Song, Eric Seidel, a bunch of really big names in the poker industry, and it's just by far the most fun and competitive atmosphere I can think of to play poker in the US. But before we get into this video, I'm hosting my very own $100,000 tournament exclusively on Club WPT Gold for anybody who used my code Rampage. It's going to be on March 18th. I'm going to be live streaming it all, and I just can't wait for this event. First time I ever get to host a tournament like this, and also using my own money to personally fill up this prize pool. It's a big thank you to everybody who supported me the most throughout the 5-6 years, and I can't wait to host more of these in the future. It's the very first one and more to come, and it's a very fun twist. I just want to explain it. So anybody who has used my code and purchased the minimum of the $20 gold coin package is able to qualify. But on top of that, there's an incentive for anybody who's played hands on the website. So for every 1,000 hands you play in ring games, doesn't matter what stakes you play, you get an additional 5,000 chips to start the tournament. So anybody who's qualified to play will receive 2,000 tournament chips, and every 1,000 hands you play in ring games gives you an additional 5,000 hands. So if you played like 3,000 hands so far, you're gonna get 17,000 chips. So just a little bit of incentive for those who have played a lot on the site and always gonna be finding ways to give back in ways like this. So I can't wait to stream it, can't wait to see who wins my money, and I'll be live streaming the whole thing. So I can't wait to join. If you want to join, click the link in the description below. Use the code Rampage at sign up. It's available for majority of everybody in the US. So anybody in the 46 states that Club WPT Gold allows will be able to enter. So March 18th is the big day. You have until March 16th, I believe, to qualify and enter. Then you just automatically get a seat into this tournament. So good luck to everybody out there, and good luck to me, hoping I can win this tournament and just take down all the money to just throw it back to you guys. Action immediately getting underway here as I have ace queen all in versus ace 7 for about a 40 big blind pot, and my dominating ace will take down this pot here. I eliminate my opponent, and my chip stack went from 125,000 starting up to 800,000 now in the early goings of this tournament. Okay, we're on break. I have Sunran, my max late reg bullet, and suddenly we're inching closer to the money. There's about 40 people left, maybe, I think. 42 or something like that, and 27 make it. I've got above average chips. We started with 125,000 chips. I've got a little over 800,000, so definitely a very productive 2 hours of play. So we got a chance. The tables will get tougher and tougher, but always love playing here at the studio. $185,000 at first place would be just lovely. So let's root for that. We're gonna play to the final table, hoping for a long night. Let's hope for a long night. Following that, we're in the big blind facing a small blind shove, and I got deuces making the call versus a short stack all in. Got a classic flip against ace 7, and I end up flopping a deuce. No longer a flip anymore, as I'm going to stack another opponent. And the very next deal, back to back to back hands, really, we're going to knock out another opponent with queens versus ace jack. I end up hitting another set, and here we go. We are running hot now in the very early goings here with 1.2 million chips in my stack. I've got over 10 starting stacks, and with a chance to get a little bit more here with ace 10 of hearts. There's an early position raise, and I end up making the call. Now the big blind goes all in for 20 big blinds. The initial raiser ends up getting out of the way and folding, and I think with ace 10 suited here, I've just got to stick in a call and hope that I can win. We're up against pocket jacks, and this time I'm behind and end up not sucking out, unfortunately. So we're going to lose another pot here. But with about 40 players left in this tournament, we've definitely got a lot of life, and with pocket jacks now, myself in the cutoff, I raise it up to 35,000 at the 15K big blind mark. The big blind ends up 3-betting to 100,000. Here, this isn't a big blind that I would expect to 3-bet too light, but with jacks, it's too good of a hand to fold, so we're going to see a flop which comes queen 6 deuce with 2 clubs. With a card over my pair, I'm not loving this spot, but my opponent fires out 150,000. Definitely suspicious of what's going on here. I decide to just make the call and see what's going on in the turn, which comes the 3 of clubs. Probably one of the worst cards I wanted to see, but my opponent slows down for a check, and I don't think I'm going to put any more chips into the middle.
I check this one back. River is a board pairing deuce, and once again, my opponent checks, so expect to win a lot with jacks, but when I check back, I see some bad news as I lose to pocket kings. So maybe I could have found a fold on this flop here, maybe didn't have to be a non-believer too much, but chipping down here into the later stages where blinds have increased, there's 32 players left and 27 players make it in the money. I've got ace-8 offsuit in the cutoff and I raise it up to 45,000 against the same opponent as last hand, who's the chip leader at the table, and he makes the call on the big blind. The flop is queen 4 deuce 2 spades, and when my opponent checks here, this is definitely a board where I could bet sometimes, but considering how close we are, 5 off being in the money, I want to conserve some chips and play a little bit more passively against the chip leader. I check this one. Turn comes to 7 of spades, completing a potential flush draw. My opponent checks again, and with ace-8, I don't see much opportunity to put chips in the middle, and I end up checking this one once more. Now the river is a board pairing 7, and my opponent hasn't acted yet and takes his time. I'm thinking if he bets small here, I might have to pay a small bet. Now he announces a bet of 175,000. Oh my goodness. Whew, this is a very hefty bet and definitely a size that makes a lot of sense. So kudos to my opponent for finding it. But I think in this case, my opponent is just repping a 7 or a flush or nothing at all. I mean, I think some flushes can exist, but I'm very skeptical about it because he checked his cards when the turn 7 came. And I think it's usually indicative of an opponent checking if he has a spade or not. So all of this boils down to me time banking, and I'm very suspicious, and I'm going to be hero calling with ace high versus a massive overbet, and my opponent shows 10-8 high. Here we go. Finally, one of my hero calls on the river ends up paying off, and I win some of my chips back. But like I said, we're closing on being in the money. 5 players need to bust, and in this next spot, there's 30 players left. So now 3 players left in the money, and the cutoff goes all in here with pocket 6s on the button. Now the cutoff jammed for about 16-15 big blinds. I actually didn't get a correct estimate in account yet, so with pocket 6s I thought this opponent has been all in a bunch of times. I think a pair is going to be ahead a lot of the time, and he can jam some lower pairs that I dominate as well. So I decided to make the call here nearing the money. Everyone ends up folding, and my opponent's got queen jack offsuit. Oh my goodness, we've got a flip. It's for a lot of chips at this stage of the tournament, and he sadly flops a jack. Ah, man. Couldn't find a 6 for the suck out on the turn or river, and I lose a pretty big pot nearing the money.
We're currently on the bubble. There's madness happening back. I'm going to try to capture it. There's an all-in. We're 4 tables and we're on the stone. There's an all-in every single table. There's 4 all-ins right now. I don't know how to capture it, but we're going to try.
What we didn't capture on the bubble, or briefly captured, was Eric Seidel actually ends up all in on the last table I captured, and he ends up busting out on the bubble. So big shout out to Eric Seidel for being the bubble boy in this $5,000 tournament. And just like that, we have locked up a min cash, but got some work to deal with here. The 40K big blind mark comes and goes, and I end up chipping down with 23 players left. We're at the 50K big blind mark, and I've got 9 big blinds and a dream. Here in the hijack, getting dealt queen jack off suits. Really iffy about this spot, but I think I just got to go for it. There aren't any pay jumps here to acquire, so I am going to be all in. Immediately, I get some bad news. The cutoff makes the call as well. Then Alex Foxen on the button, one of the best players in America right now. He ends up making the call as well. Oh my goodness, this is a 3-way all in, but I've got some really good news as I'm very live up against ace 10 and ace king. Got 2 cards and a dream. Maybe we hit it and it's a queen high flop. Let's freaking go. There's a very big chance I end up tripling up my 9 big blinds all the way up to almost 30, which would give me plenty of life to win this tournament potentially. There's a heart on the turn for a sweat. Come on. Foxen has the ace of hearts. We've just got to fade a heart, an ace, or a king. How hard could it be? It's a king on the river. And just like that, I am out in 18th place, but had a very good shot at potentially winning this tournament and taking it down, but my hopes and dreams were crushed by none other than Alex Foxen himself. He chips up big time, and I get my backpack and collect my payout.
I guess it just wasn't meant to be. I don't know. Kind of just ran out of steam and lost every pot at the end and jammed my 9 big blinds, and so close to tripling. That would have been actually incredible to have 30 bigs from 9 tripling up. Would have been amazing, but couldn't fade the river. Out in 18th, sad, but at least I got a pay jump. So thanks for watching. See you guys next time.